2016, a new TV show hit the digital airwaves and needed a podcast dedicated to chronicling its adventures. An elite team has been assembled for this task. Unfortunately, the world's listeners have not heard of this wonder twin duo. And although they may not be known now, in the future they will be referred to as tomorrow's legends.
This is John Constantine.
I am an accomplished warlock, an expert of the occult, and a master of exorcism.
Hello, Legendaires. Welcome back to the bonus episodes of Tomorrow's Legends. I am Harley Quinn, and I am solo once again, bringing you my reaction to the live-action Constantine series. And today, I'm covering the 5th episode of the series, Danse Vaudou. Wow. This was an exciting episode and creepy. Oh man, it was good. It kind of had me on the edge of my seat as I was watching it. It was a very crazy way to kind of open this show. You got murder in the first 30 seconds. Always the sign of a good episode, I guess. But the murder weapon of choice was shears, fabric shears. Whew, man, that was super interesting. One thing that I noticed from the beginning, the cop, he had an awful accent and it was kind of driving me a little bit crazy. I don't know. I have a funny feeling though, and I'll get into more of this as I continue going through my reactions, but I have a feeling we've not really seen the end of this guy, have we? I think there's got to be a little bit more to his story, or so I hope. So, for just 1 minute, let's talk about the way that they figured out how to access Zed's powers, like with the map, and they used that panoramic spinning thingy. That was very interesting. And of course, we find out that the little boy she sees in her vision is the cop that they end up running into, which was very interesting. So I thought that was kind of a different way to kind of like, trick her powers. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad way to look at it, since she doesn't really have any control over it. It was a good way, as they said, to get her to bond with the map or make a connection with the map. So that was kind of cool. Hopefully we get some more with the map and just kind of her foretelling, I guess, like what's going to happen. She's a very interesting character. Anyway, okay. So let's kind of get back into the meat of this episode, or the main purpose of this episode, where we figure out that we are chasing murderous ghosts. So that was interesting. I wasn't really expecting the kid to be a ghost when he first gets in the car with that super creepy guy. I mean, ew. Kind of glad he didn't survive, but man, it was really trippy when they're talking, and I'm like, okay, something's off about this kid. And because it's Constantine, I was just assuming maybe he was possessed or there was a demon inside of him or whatever. Then all of a sudden he just disappears and then reappears right outside the car, which was super crazy. So I wasn't expecting this to really be a ghost story, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. Now, Chaz. We get a little bit about Chaz, which makes me happy. I had assumed that some form of regeneration was his power, but it was still pretty cool to see. And again, I will be excited when we get to the episode that gives us a little bit more backstory on him, hoping that we get that. Let's see, Papa Midnite. Papa Midnite. I didn't really expect him to be involved in this episode, but I loved that he was, and I was excited to see him because he's a really, really cool character. And he didn't realize that his magic was being interfered with, which is interesting. I thought that kind of all people, like, since he's so in tuned with the spirits in the spirit world, that he might have an inkling of what was happening and that, this darkness rising. I just sort of assumed he knew all about it. So I was surprised that Constantine was basically breaking the news to him this episode. I must say, with him, I was a little bit put off in the middle of the episode before they really, I guess they don't really explain. They sort of explain, but like he was talking to a skull, and then we find out that it's his sister's skull, but apparently it's like his connection to her in the underworld or whatever. And I don't know, that would just really added to the creepy vibe of this episode. It was cool, but man, it's really off-putting to watch him just like speaking very tenderly to basically someone's skull. Oh man. The next thing about Papa Midnite, I loved that he was in this episode, and I loved that they teamed up together. I just assumed he was going to be a foe throughout the whole rest of this series, and so did not see the twist coming where they actually like kind of work together. So I like that they're kind of foils to each other, but they're both after the greater good, in a lot of ways. I just kind of assumed he was a villain. I didn't really, because I don't know much about him from comics or anything like that. So I just sort of, assumed he was a bad guy. So it was a twist I didn't see coming, and I liked it. I liked them working together, and I would like to see more of that because I love like the feel that the voodoo just kind of brings to it. It's creepy. It's great. I love it. I want more of it. All right. So we're going back to the cop. Totally going back to the cop. How does he know Zed? Okay, obviously as the episode continues to go on, you kind of figure out there's something off about this guy. Like he's really, I feel like he's really like honed in on Zed. And then you kind of figure out that I guess he knows her. Was he the one who like was working on her missing persons case? I mean, clearly she was listed as a missing person. It's obvious that she must have run away from home. I'm guessing she did not come from a very good home life. She looked absolutely petrified when she was trying to figure out if there was still an active missing report for her. So there's got to be something there, something to her backstory. And then that reveal at the end, was he dead the whole time? Is he a ghost? Did she kill him? Like, what is happening? I need to know these answers. Please tell me we get some answers here. It just, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. It just, that totally came out of left field for me. And what is she running from? So obviously she's got to be this link, right? She's the link to the Darkness Rising. I find it very hard to believe it's Chaz. Like, I mean, Chaz and Constantine go way back. Like, they're totally mates. So it's got to be Zed, right? So what is the tie-in? What is she running from? I mean, is she running from her family? Is she running from this darkness? How is that all tied together? It has to be a link. Oh my gosh, I have so many questions, and I'm excited for the next episode.
And for you dead. You never saw me, and everything is perfectly normal.
All right. Once again, if you're looking for a more detailed podcast, and I should probably listen to it myself to answer these questions, you should listen to The Devil You Know, a Constantine podcast. And once again, that's over on Golden Spiral Media. I will also place a link to that particular episode in our blog post, so you can go right there and get to it pretty easy. All right. So I'm looking forward to this next episode. Until next time, this is Harley Quinn, and I'm out.
Tomorrow's Legends is not affiliated with CBS, Warner Brothers, or the CW. We're a fan-made podcast for entertainment purposes only and are part of the Cybercast Network.